Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a full face of nothing new. I feel like even though there are a lot of new makeup releases or just beauty products in general, I'm just not that interested in a lot of them for one reason or another. So I figured I would dive into my makeup collection and pick out a full face of makeup of products that aren't new, that haven't been released recently. So a lot of this is older makeup or just some of my older favorites. So let's just go ahead and get started. For my eyes today, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Born to Run palette, which I actually really like, but I don't think I've ever used on my channel for some reason. The shades in here are really pretty, and at least from the shades that I have tried so far, they work really well. I almost forgot to prime my lids, but I'm gonna prime them with the Milani Eyeshadow Primer. This is more of a clear primer, even though it does have a little bit of tint to it. I actually just started using this primer, and so far I do really like it. And I actually don't mind that this is clear on the lids. It does make my eyeshadow really pop, and it does make it last pretty much the whole day. So I'm first going to take the shade Riff, and I'm going to keep my eye look pretty simple today. I might only use like 2, maybe 3 shades. I'm going to apply that shade into the crease. And this is an E.L.F. and J. Kissa J3 brush. I feel like I went a little bit heavy with my transition shades, so I'm just taking this Morphe JH30 brush and buffing over that. Next, I'm taking the shade Double Life. I'm going to apply this all over the lid with my finger. This is one of my favorite shades in this palette because it's just so coppery and metallic. It's just such a pretty shade, and it has kind of like a darker base to it, so when you blend it out, it does look really nice and smoky. Taking a little bit more of Riff, I'm going to use that to blend out Double Life. Adding a little bit more of Double Life. And then blending again. I'm going to use the 2 deepest matte brown shades in the palette, Good Is Gone and Punk. So I'm just going to go back and forth, and I'm going to line my upper lash line with that. I have been getting a little bit of fallout with this palette, but luckily I'm doing my eyes first, so I can just clean up the fallout. Before I finish up my eyes, I am going to do my complexion. So I'm going to take the E.L.F. Natural Glow Lotion. This is in the gold shade. I'm pretty sure they have a pinky one as well. Even though I have my skincare, I feel like I need a little bit of extra moisture on my skin before going in with foundation, since I am going to be using a matte foundation. I'm going to start on my cheeks where I have a bit of redness and kind of like flakiness going on. This looks really pretty underneath foundation, and it does look really pretty mixed into foundation as well, which I've also done before. For foundation, I'm going to be using an old favorite, which is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation. So I'm going to be mixing 2 shades. This is a 128 Warm Nude and 228 Soft Tan. This one is way too deep for me, but I love having this shade to mix into other foundations. So I'm going to take way more of 128 and then just a drop or 2 of 228. This foundation, even though I do love it, I just don't love the packaging. I wish they had pumps, because that would make my life so much easier. And what's funny is that I have had the pumps that fit these foundation bottles in my Amazon cart for months now. I've probably had them in there since last year, to be honest. I just have to buy them already. I don't know what I'm waiting for. So I'm gonna mix these up, and I'm gonna hope that this matches me. I always check in my mirror because sometimes I'm way off. Okay, I think that should match. I'm first gonna blend that out with this Real Techniques stippling brush, and then I'll go over it with my sponge. That actually looks really good over top of that E.L.F. Glow Lotion. I don't think I've ever tried this combination of primer and foundation before. I'm just gonna dip directly into the foundation for this side just to make my life easier. I'm gonna bring it down my neck because sometimes in pictures, even if it matches me in real life, it just looks a little bit off. This is actually one of my favorite foundations. I would say this one and the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear are my go-tos, but this one is a little bit more matte, but it does really blur your pores. And then just taking my sponge and patting over everything. For concealer, I'm going to take the Maybelline Fit Me concealers, and once again, I have two shades. I'm just always mixing shades because I want to get my perfect match. So I'm going to be taking the shade 20 Sand first, and then I'm going to be applying a little bit of 15 Light right over top of it. This is more of a highlighter shade for me, and 20 Sand matches my skin tone a little bit more. So I'm going to take 20 Sand first. And then just a tiny bit of 15 Light. And blending that with my sponge. I would say this concealer has medium coverage, and especially if you blend it out with a brush, you can get almost full coverage. I have been using this concealer for years now. It's probably one of the first drugstore concealers that I really fell in love with because it just blends out so easily, and even though it's not the most full coverage concealer that I have, it just looks really seamless on the skin. I'm gonna go ahead and set my face with the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. I do reach for this one every once in a while, but I've just been so hooked on my newer powders that I've discovered recently. But this one is just always a staple in my collection because it doesn't have talc, so it's a little bit more lightweight compared to other setting powders. I'm going to take my E.L.F. small tapered brush and pick up some of the powder and set underneath my eyes. Whenever I use this foundation, I don't feel the need to apply a ton of powder because it does dry down to a matte finish, but I always like applying at least a little bit just so that my makeup wears longer throughout the day. For bronzer, I'm going to be taking the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which is a cult classic bronzer that I feel like almost everyone likes. I just haven't reached for this in a while because I have been really hooked on cream bronzers lately, especially now that I'm officially 30 years old. I thought I was gonna feel a lot different now that I'm 30, but I don't really feel anything. Am I supposed to feel something? I don't know. So I'm gonna apply that with my E.L.F. stipple brush. Even though I still really like this bronzer, I just haven't reached for it in a while because I do have to really build it up when I'm a little bit more tan. So like I said, I have been reaching for more cream bronzers lately, and then I usually top it with a shimmery or luminous bronzer over top. So I kind of just forgot about this one, even though I still really like it. I almost feel like this side of my makeup looks a little bit textured and almost patchy, but this side looks fine. I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna quickly do my brows off camera because I always use the same two products. I'm gonna fill them in with the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim Pencil in the shade Black Brown. And then to set my brows in place, I'm taking the E.L.F. Wow Brow in the shade Deep Brown. So I'm gonna quickly do that and I will be right back. Okay, brows are done. They're not perfect, but they're there. I don't know why I've been struggling so much with my brows lately. I'm gonna finish up the lower lash line now. So I'm gonna take the shade Riff I'm gonna take this double-ended brush from Anastasia, the ones that come in the palettes, and I'm gonna run that along my lower lash line. And then just taking the fluffy side of the brush and blending that out. I'm gonna take the shade Double Life, which is that metallic copper shade that I used on the lid, and using that flat side of the brush, I'm gonna apply that right to the inner portion of the lower lash line, and I'm bringing it in about halfway. And then with this really tiny brush, this is the Morphe JH39 brush. It's a super tiny pencil brush. I'm gonna mix Good As Gone and Punk Again, which are the deep matte brown shades in the palette. And I'm gonna apply that really close to my lower lash line and connecting it up onto the outer corner of the lid. And I'm just setting a little bit more up onto the upper lash line, just further smoking it out. So I'm gonna apply my mascara off camera because I do have to get really close to my mirror. I'm gonna apply 2 coats of the L'Oreal Voluminous Original Mascara in the shade Blackest Black. I'm gonna use this one for my top lashes, and then for my bottom lashes, I'm gonna use the waterproof version in the shade Black Brown. So I'm gonna do that off camera and I will be right back. For blush, I'm applying the Buxom Primer-Infused blush in the shade Wanderlust. I love this blush. I just haven't reached for it in a while because I do have a ton of other blushes that I've acquired recently. And this one, I just really love the shade. It's really glowy, but it doesn't look shimmery on the skin. So yeah, I really like this one. I'm gonna apply this with a Sigma F40 large contour brush. But this one is just so pretty. It blends out like a dream. It doesn't look too shimmery, even though it does have a sheen to it. For highlighter, I'm gonna take the Essence Pure Nude highlighter in the shade Be My Highlight. This one is one of my favorite highlighters ever, even though I don't really use it that often, at least not nowadays. I used to use this all the time. It just goes with pretty much any look that you do, and you can really build it up. It doesn't enhance texture too much, especially if you apply a little bit of this, and it just looks very, very pretty on the skin. So I'm gonna take this on a Real Techniques setting brush. Oh wait, you know what? I'm gonna set my face first. So I'm gonna set my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray in the Summer Solstice scent. So I'm gonna apply this and then I'll apply my highlighter over top. And now I'm gonna apply the Essence Pure Nude highlighter with the Real Techniques setting brush. I love the shade of this highlighter because it really does go with pretty much any look that you do, since it is more of a neutral, like champagne color. It's not pinky, it's not gold, it's like right in between. And I'm gonna apply this to my inner corners as well. You know what? I kind of want a little more gold on the inner corners, so I'm gonna take the shade Blaze, which is a gold, but it does have a tiny bit of like a pink shift to it, so hopefully it's not too pinky. That might be a little too pinky still, so I'm gonna take the shade Stranded and I'm gonna apply that right over top. Okay, I think that's what I was going for. I always bring it a little bit up onto the inner portion of the lid just to tie the look together. And I'm also gonna tightline with the Lottie London AM to PM eyeliner in the shade Mocha. And I'm gonna fill in my waterline with the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Overboard, which is a really pretty bronzy shade. Finally, for the lips, I'm gonna take the NYX lip pencil in the shade Nude Truffle And I'm just gonna line my lips with that. And then I'm gonna take the Almay Lip Vibes lipstick in the shade Never Regret. That might look a little bit too cool toned on me. I don't know if you can tell on camera. I think I'm gonna apply something a little peachier on my lips. Okay, so I found this L'Oreal Havana Camila Cabello. I don't know how you say her last name, but this is the Lip Dew in the shade. It doesn't have a shade name on the bottle, so I'm gonna apply this right over top of the lip combo that I have just to make it a little warmer. And this is a like mid-tone rosy bronzy gloss shade. I'm pretty sure this collection came out a couple of years ago, so this is probably expired. It doesn't smell weird though. Yeah, it still smells really, really good, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna throw it out. And here is a completed makeup look. I had so much fun filming this full face of nothing new. I really want to do these a lot more often, or just like shop my stash type of videos. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. If not, then I won't film them anymore. But that is everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.